welcome to footballgameplan.com, where football makes sense. I'm Emery Hunt, the czar of the playbook. Bring you our NFL Week 5 preview between the Seattle Seahawks and the Indianapolis Colts. Now let's take a look at some keys to victory for both teams, starting with the Seahawks.
The Seahawks do a great job on offense with their outside zone and their naked bootleg that comes off of it. However, this week versus the Colts, they're going to have to be successful in a classic 3-step, 5-step shotgun passing game because of the Colts' ability to bring pressure, which would also require the receivers to get off bump press quicker, something that has been lacking so far from that unit. Defensively, what got the Seahawks in trouble last week versus the Texans could get them in trouble this week versus the Colts. The run fits have to get better, especially versus a team in Indy that loves to move their tight end and fullback to get better blocking angles. The linebackers must take that quote-unquote wrong shoulder approach to clog up those running lanes and be much more effective this week versus the Colts. Now let's move over to Indianapolis in this matchup, and the Colts are an offense that's predicated on movement. They move the pocket, they move their tight end, their H-back. They also take advantage of a team's over-aggressiveness, and I believe this week versus Seattle, they can have a lot of success. Look for the Colts to take shots deep down the field early in the ball game, especially over the middle. I think there are some opportunities for both Coby Fleener as well as T.Y. Hilton. Now, defensively, the Colts are playing top 10 football, and they're getting to the quarterback. They're clogging up the inside running lanes. And versus Seattle, they're going to have to play more of a contained defense versus Russell Wilson, who can do damage outside of the pocket. And they still have to be able to have the ability to press outside on the corners. I think that's going to be the biggest matchup for the Colts. They're going to have to press those receivers and win that individual matchup on the outside.
The Seattle Seahawks will have to clog up the passing lanes this week versus Andrew Luck and the Indianapolis Colts. And I'm going to show you how they can get a stunt up front, dropping their defensive tackle and playing quarters, half in the back end. I'm going to show you, I know that's a lot of verbiage, but I'm going to show you how they can get it done. What we're going to do, we're going to play cover 2 weak side, and we're going to play quarters coverage strong side, but we're also going to stunt up front with the end and the tackle, and we're also going to drop the 3 technique in the hook to curl zone. So I'm gonna show you what we're gonna do. Strong side first, let's deal with this quarters coverage. Everybody's responsible for their quarters of the field. Strong safety and the cornerback have quarters coverage strong side. And what we're gonna do, we're gonna drop the strong side backer into the curl to out responsibility. So he's protecting underneath. Why? Because versus the run, he has outside contain as well. So he's gonna check run first. And this is designed to slow play the pass on purpose. So they're going to check, everybody's going to check run first, but they're dropping back versus the passing game, thus clogging up the passing lanes if this is a play action pass. So that's why we have the linebacker slow playing the curl out responsibility. We're going to have the strong side defensive end line up in a 5 technique, and he's checking versus run, he's controlling the C gap. Versus pass, he's slanting hard in the B gap. Why? Because we have the defensive tackle lined up in a 1 technique, and versus the run, he's pursuing the A gap, but now versus pass, he's crossing face into that B gap. So now you have twin B gap stunts, and so that's ideally what you want. You want to get front side pressure. Now on the weak side, what we have going on, we're going to send the weak side inside linebacker, boom, straight through the A gap, trying to hurry up and get the quarterback to throw the football quickly. We're going to have the 3 tech push upfield and drop into his hook to curl responsibility. We have cover 2 on the outside, get a good jam, try to force this guy inside, and this cornerback is playing his out responsibility, and we have the free safety playing the half on this side. Now we have the strong side inside backer's job is to drop to his hook to curl responsibility. We have this weak side defensive end getting upfield, C gap contained. So you can see how we can play quarters, half, and the back end 3 guys deep down the field. Nothing really threatening you weak side as long as this cornerback is getting a good bump, trying to funnel this guy inside to where his help is, which is the free safety. And we also have the 3 technique dropping back to take away any quick pass. Hopefully he can get a hand on the football, but either way we have the strong safety squeezing down on whatever he's going to run inside. We have quarters coverage on the strong side with 4 guys, 2 guys underneath, 2 guys deep. So you protect yourself in the passing game, and also is in great position versus the run. So this is a way the Seattle Seahawks can create pressure up front by slow playing the pass and dropping back into zone coverage. I think they'll do a great job of doing this versus the Indianapolis Colts. The Indianapolis Colts have some explosive talent offensively. One guy in particular, T.Y. Hilton, has the breakaway speed to threaten the defense, and I'm going to show you how they can utilize his speed in the short passing game and where he can take it deep down the field because of his speed. So what we have here is T.Y. Hilton lined up as a flex guy off the line of scrimmage, outside leg of the tight end. We're going to bring him in motion and create the bunch concept weak side. So this is what we're trying to do. We're trying to draw both the safety and the cornerback out of the play. So we're going to have the guy at the top of the bunch stem out, push to the inside shoulder of the cornerback, take it upfield. We're going to have the guy on the outside of the bunch stem up, push to the inside shoulder, the outside shoulder of the safety. Hopefully drawing both of those guys up because we're keying on the nickel back because we're bringing T.Y. Hilton in motion. And as he gets to the outside leg of the tackle, we're going to snap the ball. He's going to sprint out as if he's going to the flat to create the rub, hopefully drawing this nickel back out this way, but he's breaking it back in on the arrow route, thus creating the lane for Andrew Luck to get him the football. Linebacker drops into his coverage. And this is where you want to drop the football off and allow him to utilize his speed to take the distance. So you want to create a rub here with the nickel back, get him caught up in the trash here, break T.Y. Hilton back to the inside, get him the football, and hopefully he can run the daylight. So that's one way the Colts can get T.Y. Hilton the football short and allow him to utilize his speed to take it down the field.
The X factor for the Seahawks this game will be Bruce Irvin, who's returning from a 4-game suspension. This is a guy that can bring a lot of pressure off the edge and also does a great job versus the run as well, contrary to popular belief. So how well he's integrated back into the defense will be something you want to watch for throughout the course of the ball game. The X factor for the Colts will be their vertical passing game. Like I said before, there are some opportunities for these guys to hit big plays deep down the field. Can they take advantage early is what you want to look for early on in this matchup. Now here are some coaching points for both teams in this ball game. For Seattle, the defensive backs can't fall asleep. I keep echoing the same point throughout the course of the video. Seattle can be had deep down the field, so they can't fall asleep and they have to make plays. And they can't get wham blocked up front. That's how the Colts running game works. They do a great job moving their fullback, their tight ends, their H-back. Don't allow yourself to get wham blocked at the line of scrimmage. And I would work Zach Miller early in the ball game. Take over the middle of the field, calm that interior pressure of the Indianapolis Colts by working your tight end in the ball game very early. And for the Colts in this ball game, I would get creative with Antoine Bethea, the strong safety. I trust the Colts cornerbacks going one-on-one with the Seahawks wide receivers, so that would allow them the creativity to use Bethea in creative blitzes versus the run as well as versus the pass. And you have to set the edge versus the outside zone of the Seattle Seahawks who want to bottle up that running game tackle to tackle. Don't allow them to get to the outside and create those natural cutback lanes. And running out of spread sets, in my opinion, would do the Colts a huge service this week versus Seattle. Spread the football field, allow Richardson, Bradshaw, Brown to run versus an unstacked box, and I think they can have a great chance to move the football on the ground. I like the Seahawks in this ballgame. I look at both teams being very similar, although I will trust the Seahawks defense more so than the Colts defense, especially getting Bruce Irvin back in the fold. I think that right there will be the difference maker. Look for Irvin to make at least 1 or 2 game-changing plays this week versus Indy. Plus, when you look at the running game, they're a lot more consistent and more dynamic than what the Colts bring to the table. So I like the Seahawks to go on the road and knock off Indy. And I also want to give a huge shout out to Seahawk fan forums and Colt fan forums for always showing football game plan support.